One of the most appalling traits anybody could have is jealousy. Something I want to get into, so let's get to it. How you doing, guys? About 10 years ago, I was looking to get back into the food industry. I had been out of it for about 10 years, so I was quite rusty. And a couple of friends of mine talked me into going to this assisted living facility. They had already worked there, so they kind of pulled me in, and they showed me around. Over the next few weeks, I noticed there was this one Latin girl that worked there. Really big butt, something you could beat with a car antenna. And I inquired about her, and they said, stay away from that one. She is mean as a wolverine, and she's ice cold, which was true. It took me several weeks before I could break that wall down. Now, this girl was hot and cold, hot and cold. Yeah, either got along with her or you did not at all. Now, we had a love-hate thing going the entire time I was there. When we got along great. When we didn't, it was very volatile. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied today, guys. We were going through this one phase where we were not getting along, and so we kind of stayed away from each other, opposite ends. They had hired this other girl, new girl, who took an interest in me. I really wasn't interested in her. To me, she was just one of the guys with a vagina. But she was okay with that. And she was cool to hang out with, cool to talk to and stuff. And that was fine. Over the next few months, I started talking to the Latin girl again. And we got back together. That was fine. Now, this other girl, who had been cool up until this point, changed entirely. Because now she figured she had a rival. Well, she started picking up the pace. Now, what used to be entertaining and interesting conversation turned into annoying conversation. She figured she now had to grab my attention, and she was saying every stupid thing in the book to keep my attention. And I'm like, just get away. She was doing stupid things. All of a sudden, she started bad-mouthing the Latin girl. She started telling me these god-awful things like, I don't think so. And there was really no point to it. But what she was trying to do was get me to drop the Latin girl so I could pick her up. But I had already expressed to her that I was not interested. And apparently she was okay with that as long as she didn't have a rival. Over the next few weeks, things started getting very ugly. Because not only did she turn on this Latin girl, she started turning on me. She started bashing me to the bosses, which I'm used to that anyways, and it really didn't get anywhere. One day I was going on break. A good friend of mine, as a matter of fact, he watches this channel every so often. And he's known me since my heyday. So he was waiting for me to explode. He knew me way back when I was a house of fire, but around this time I had mellowed out quite a bit. And I had developed a much longer fuse, and it took a lot more to get me to blow up. But he could see it in my eyes, I was ready to blow. So I was going to take a break. She had been annoying me all day, so I clocked out, went outside, sat on the bench, and was sitting there shooting the shit. We looked, and she's heading our way. And he knew. He's like, just calm down, ignore her. Yeah, I hear you. She came out and started bitching. And I'm like, look, I just clocked out. I'm taking a break. And she just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. I could feel the rage going up my spine. I said, frig this. So I got up, went back inside, still off the clock. One of the bosses was coming in. And I turned around, I'm watching as she just charged this poor bastard. He's not even out of his car. and she's squawking about something. And I'm like, I am outside taking a break. What the hell have you got to squawk about? I figured, I looked at a friend of mine and I nodded. Time to drop the axe on this bitch. So I approached her and I said, enough is enough. From here on in, I need you to stay the hell away from me. And she says, I'm trying. And I'm like, yeah, and my ass plays chitty chitty bang bang. Well, she kept on squawking, kept on squawking. Then all of a sudden she gives me a smile like, oh, everything's fine. We're getting along just fine. I said the one thing that literally crushed her. And I says, wipe that smirk off that baboon face. Well, her mouth dropped. And the look of hurt in her eyes was evident. Now, she didn't respond. She just turned around and headed towards the parking lot. And I'm thinking, oh, good, she's leaving. She stopped midway, turned around and looked like she was going to say something, then turned around and kept on going. Well, she had left, and she went home. She called back, complained to the bosses about what had happened. So I figured, okay, my job is probably on the line. But then I started to remember, wait a minute, no, I was off the clock. Which, when I was inquired about this, I remembered that, and I mentioned it. And they said, well, what's the problem? I said, well, the problem is she's a complete frigging douchebag. But to just let you know, I was off the clock, so I was on my own time. They overlooked it. They kept a close eye on me in case it happened again, but they did have to pretty much overlook it. They tried to get her to come back, and I'm thinking, hoping, no, don't bring this bitch back. It's funny. You take age and a lot of things for granted that happen when you're younger. It seems like you meet people on a weekly basis. And this is an ongoing thing. You know how you lock eyes with somebody and you see somebody, you get those butterflies. And you have to have this person. And this seems to be an ongoing thing every week. And half the time you forget half the people that you met way back when. As you get older, it doesn't seem to happen as much. And there are times you start to feel your age. You got the wear and tear. You got medical issues that are building up. Particularly if you're single and don't have a family to speak of, you kind of get used to that empty, lonely feeling. Your life gets a little bit more redundant. You go to work, you pay your bills, you go home, go back to work and do it all over again. But even still, every so often, you're going through the routine, this daily routine, and just all of a sudden you see somebody. You lock eyes, you start conversing. Now, whether it's somebody you've just met or somebody you already knew, it doesn't matter. But you start conversing, and you get those butterflies just like when you were a kid. And you really enjoy it. It's like, wow, this hasn't happened in a very long time. Next day, the same thing. They come back and you have a nice little conversation. Then as the weeks go by, you start hanging out. And you feel happy about this. And people around you start noticing, oh, he's in an awfully good mood lately. I mean, you go through the day with a smile, average everyday smile. But now they notice you with a real smile. They notice you're in an exceptionally good mood. Unfortunately, not all people around you and people in your circle share your enthusiasm. They want to know, well, what's happening? Why are you smiling? Who is this person you're hanging out with? And unfortunately, this is where the jealousy bug kicks in. Anybody who thinks guys can't be bitches, you're quite wrong, because guys can be the biggest bitches on the planet. This is one thing I have noticed. They're very competitive. Have you ever bought a new car and you show it off to one of the guys and they're like, oh, my car could beat that hands down. Really? Dude, this is a Porsche. You drive a Fiat. But nonetheless, they still compete. And women is no different. They will find everything they perceive as a physical flaw, even if they have to make it up. She's getting kind of ratty looking. Don't you think she's kind of old? And dude, you're older than she is. And they'll keep on going. They'll keep on going. They will pick this girl apart. And the funny thing is, even though they're picking her apart physically, this is a guy who's built like a kumquat, and he couldn't get laid in a woman's prison. But nonetheless, they keep on going. They finally put the stop to it. Like, dude, have you looked in the mirror lately? What do you mean? You're no Chippendale dancer. As a matter of fact, you're kind of expanding a wee bit. I didn't come here to be insulted. Oh, really? Where do you usually go? Women are quite a bit different. See, they don't come out on the attack right away. They got to feel the situation out first. They'll talk to you about it because they know right away. Women got that radar thing going, and they know when something's up, just automatic, just by the conversation. So they dig for information. They'll dig for information. They dig for information. And if it's somebody who has secretly had romantic interest, they wait for the right opportunity to fire. And they will attack this girl and tear her to shreds. Now, in reference to a video I did last week, what they try and do, now there's nothing they can do to get this person away from you, but what they will try and do is get you to do it. They will say the most god-awful things to get you to push this person out of the picture. And they will go and go and go. And you wonder to yourself, why am I talking to this bitch? Well, this is their agenda. See, the reason being, guys and girls both, when jealousy kicks in, why do they do this? Well, first of all, it's fine. When you're on an even keel and nothing's going on, they're happy for you. But they can't allow you to be happier than them. If they see you smiling about something and they're still down here, they got to put a stop to it. And if it's a woman with romantic interest, she sees this as a rivalry. So she's got to make sure that put a stop to it. So what they will try and do is get you angry enough to push this person out of the picture so they can slip into the picture. But the thing is, they're not realizing you're not in the picture to begin with. So what makes you think if I push this person out of the picture that you're going to be there? Because you're not. But they don't consider that. You know, when you get up in years and you're single and your health is starting to slip, there's very little to smile about. But once in a while, there's something in your life that puts a smile on your face. And sometimes it's just a very small, insignificant thing. But my thing is, if somebody is smiling about something, why would you mess with that? Leave it alone. Unfortunately, most people cannot. The unfortunate thing is, rather than smiling and be happy with you, they would much rather have you cry with them in their own miserable crapulence. This was just something I wanted to point out, guys. You guys have a good day, and I'll be talking to you soon.